Welcome to another episode of Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy and Dino.
And sometimes Jared.
Down the Barrel Podcast is brought to you by the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association
and wolf.report. Wolf.report, a platform dedicated to elevating the voices of Minnesota hunters, trappers, and outdoor enthusiasts. Join us in advocating for responsible wolf management in Minnesota. Share your reports, photos, and stories, and together we will ensure that they are seen by all.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, protecting the future of deer and deer hunting through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation. All right, so today we're talking with the Vice President of the Minnesota Trappers Association, Bert Highland. How's it going, Bert?
Going great.
Good.
Thanks for making the drive over.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah, so you came from, is it Brimson?
Yep, Brimson. It's about
okay.
About 30 miles north of Two Harbors.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that is quite the drive.
Yeah.
So how are the leaves? Are they...
It's kind of a funny fall.
Yeah.
You know, it's dry and it's 80 degrees some days.
Right. Yeah.
But nothing spectacular yet.
Okay.
But they're starting.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Awesome. So you're with the Minnesota Trappers Association. Now, is that a statewide group?
Yes, it is. Statewide group. We're divided into 8 districts.
Okay.
Each district has a director and a co-director.
Okay.
Some have 2 co-directors. And of course, myself is the vice president, and Brian Fisher is our president.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have 8 districts, and you don't have chapters.
No.
Everybody's just a part of the main association. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. About how many members do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Give or take, I think we're approaching 2,000.
Okay. Nice. And up in your area, is that one of the more active areas, I would imagine? Up in Region 1, I think I saw?
Yes, we're District 1. We cover Cook Lake, St. Louis, Itasca, and Koochiching counties. Okay. We've got roughly 350 members within that district.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So do you find that what's the age span on like your members? Is there any young folks trapping still?
Yes.
There is.
In fact, we just had a Trappers Ed class last weekend in Mountain Iron.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Had 11 kids, or well, not kids, but they ranged from 12 to 28.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. So
well,
it was
that's good
nice
to know people are still curious about and interested in learning it.
Absolutely. I believe it was September 7th. We had a class down in Wadena, and there were close to 40 young people.
Oh, wow.
So that was great.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So how did you get into trapping?
Well, I don't know if at my grandpa's place, he had an old number 0 Victor lawn spring hanging in one of his barns. And it just fascinated me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even set the damn thing. But my dad would set it for me in the kitchen. I'd go out, walk across our field. We had kind of a farm and make a set for weasels. And it ended up I caught 5 weasels that first winter. I was 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
In fact, my mom saved everything, and I still got the receipt, the money I got for those weasels.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you trapped them and skun them and sold them?
Yep. My dad's the one who skun them, of course, when I was that young. But yeah, back then there was a fur buyer in every town.
Right. I remember my dad used to do a lot of trapping back in the 80s.
Sure.
But,
And in the 80s, that was kind of the fur boom.
Yeah.
High prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had a whole building full of traps and had the old wicker backpack.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And unfortunately, in the, I don't know how long into the 80s, it just kind of fizzled out for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The 80s was the fur boom. And then, the big stock market crash, I think it was 87.
Okay.
That kind of took care of prices. And they've kind of been well, I guess the fur market always has been up and down.
Right.
But more so down in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know with MDHA, they've really noticed that with the Hides for Habitat program and the deer hides.
Yes.
With that there was, mid 90s and late 80s where prices were really good. And then, then they kind of took a dive and been slowly progressively back up the last, probably last 6-7 years, give or take.
Yeah, I kind of agree. raw furs too.
Yeah.
Probably the last 3 or 4. They're starting to slowly
get better.
rise.
Okay.
You know, beaver took a pretty good jump here 3-4 years ago. Now it's going down, but your other fur is starting to gain a little value too.
Yeah.
So nice
that's
when a
always good to
kid.
hear.
Yeah, nice when a kid can get out and make a few dollars.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
get them outdoors, get them learning about
You bet.
the natural
Yeah.
world. Absolutely.
And that's the problem we have nowadays.
Yeah, I can only imagine because just getting kids into hunting is hard.
Yeah.
Trapping
Yes.
is almost like another step further. It's like
Yeah.
another difficulty level.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know if it's so much difficult, but it's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hunting, it's raining out. You can say, I'm going to stay home today.
Right.
Trapping, if you got traps in the water or the ground, you got to go out there and tend them.
Right, I suppose.
So how long has the Trappers Association been around?
We were formed in 1959.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, Dale Himes from, I believe it was International Falls, one of those towns up on the border.
Yeah.
He was our first president.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Since 59.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite a while.
Yes.
For sure. So do you still sell furs right now yourself?
Yes.
Yeah?
I do.
And where do those furs generally go? Where's the market these days?
Well, the market, of course, Russia used to be a big market
Yeah,
with the Ukraine
I suppose.
fiasco.
Yeah.
They're out of it.
Okay.
China was a big player,
Okay.
but their economy isn't the greatest right now. So they've backed up. They still consume a lot of fur.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But South Korea, Italy, Germany,
Wow.
mostly European countries, and domestically here we consume some too, but not to the extent the Europeans in Asian markets.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
I suppose. And how about Canada? Do they still do any?
Yep, Canada. In fact, I ship a big majority of my fur to Canada to go on
Okay.
international auction.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
And would you say in the United States, is it more of like I don't even know, what do they call it? Like a smaller market, the smaller dealers and sellers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say New York used to have big fur districts.
Okay.
Brokers and such, and that isn't so much. I mean, we do have some major players in the U.S.
Yeah.
Grunwald Hide and Fur out of Illinois.
Okay.
They're a big player. And of course, I told you about the auction house, Fur Harvesters Auction in Canada.
Okay.
And both Grunwald and Fur Harvesters ship internationally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know there's a lot of places throughout probably the United States and Canada, little specialty shops that do like gloves and hats and maybe even some coats. But they're not big industrial. These are just little shops that do it kind of, a few a year.
Sure.
But I love to see those.
Yes, it's all good.
Yeah.
They talk about sustainability and the green movement. Well,
It's all natural.
yeah,
Right.
There's
all natural.
nothing. Fur is about as green as you're going to get.
I
Yep.
agree.
Yep.
Oh, the one thing I wonder about is these guys right here, this little coyote guy back here I have on the rack here. These are almost worthless nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, they are probably a good one caught in the winter. Probably looking at possibly $20, and you have to be exceptional.
Really, for $20.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 10 on an average.
And now is that what do they call that? Live or no? When they take the animal whole?
Oh, you mean like when a fur buyer buys it and he processes it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, it would be less than I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at $5 to $8
Right.
in the carcass, a coyote.
Right.
Okay.
And what's the term for that? I mean, we talked about it the other day, but I can't remember.
Well, you sell them whole. There's not really a term, but selling them green, that's just scun.
Yep.
Not fleshed or dried.
Stretched or anything.
Right. I finish all my furs.
Okay.
Yeah. But, we've got local fur buyers here that do buy them in the carcass, green,
Yep.
or processed.
Okay. So where's the local buyers? Are they?
Well, we've got several. We've got Carlson, Hide and Fur, and
We've heard of
Jacobson.
them. Yeah.
Todd Schultz is over in Deer River.
Oh wow. So local.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Webkey Fur, they're southern Minnesota. North Star Fur, that Twin Cities area,
Okay.
Johnson fir up around Wilmer. So there is some.
There, yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that's surprising.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the list. There's a decent amount of fur buyers in the States.
There
so,
is.
yeah.
There is. Like I said earlier, back when I was a kid, every town had a fur buyer.
Somebody. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of remember doing it with my dad, and it's probably like Cook or something we went to.
Okay, it wouldn't be Joe Panici, would it?
Yeah. I mean, this was in the 80s. So,
Okay.
I mean, it could have been. I just remember, he would process his own, and I remember the stretchers hanging all over the yard, and
Sure.
then I kind of remember him going up to Cook and selling his.
Okay.
his- mainly, I think was beavers, but
Yeah. No, that's probably it. Rapids here had Newton, I believe his name was.
oh yeah,
Mountain Iron had Harold Davey. Chisholm had, what was his name? Will Vicari. Two Harbors had Don Boland. In fact, Don was a past MTA president,
okay.
and he bought fur through the mid-'70s and early 80s.
And would they just sell them to like wholesalers? Then,
Yeah, they were
Okay.
buying for big brokers.
Okay.
I know.
All
In
right.
fact, Don sold to, I believe it was Val Schlaben out in Detroit Lakes,
Okay.
and he was a big player in those
Mm-hmm.
days.
All right. So, are you trapping right now? I mean,
No.
I don't really know the whole trapping season anymore.
Season opens, I believe, in the North Zone here, October 26th on the water animals.
Okay. Okay. So 26.
Probably a week earlier on your land
Okay.
animals.
Okay.
And how long does that go now?
Well, it depends. Mink and muskrat, I think that closes the end of February. Beaver goes all the way to May 15th.
Okay.
And the DNR put otter to run concurrent with beaver now. So now a guy can trap otters right till May 15th too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a plus.
Yeah. So how about the cats?
Oh, they're cat
The
season.
cat.
Yeah. Cat season runs somewhere in the middle of December till the end of January, towards the end of January.
Okay.
About a month, 6 weeks long.
Have you ever done any of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love trapping cats.
Yeah, I got a few of them behind the house. I was looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to try it this winter.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yep. No, cats are a challenge.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. They're kind of I wouldn't call them smart, but they're indifferent. They're being cats.
Yeah.
Right. They're little. Yeah, I know because I've seen more cats on my trail cams this year than I ever have, and I've
Yeah.
lived at the place for 20 years now.
And that could be because of our easy winter.
That's what I've
last
been
year,
hearing.
too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think those tough winters might have hurt them a little bit, but they're resilient. They're bouncing back.
Yeah.
So what's the highest price for, of course, I mean, there's no seasons going on right now, but what's predicted to be kind of one of the highest price furs at this point?
I would say your cats.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yep, your cats. And a exceptional one, you're looking at maybe a couple $100.
Oh, really?
Nice.
For an extra large,
Yeah.
pale, nice spots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what would be considered like the lowest,
I would have to say muskrats.
okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That
They-
surprises me.
Yeah, they used to be, kind of the bread and butter
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. You'd always be in that $4 to $6 range. Well, now you're looking probably at $2.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I guess I would have thought that it would have been even, well, I mean, Kyle, it's pretty down.
Yeah.
The way it is anyways. And I was amazed when we talked to Joe Canella. He was catching weasels and he was saying that they were like $5.
Yeah. Weasel actually is good money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think any fur buyer will buy them for $5 or $6 from you whole.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
sell
yeah.
them to the
Yeah.
taxidermists.
yeah.
Really?
I think finished, I seen last year. I didn't have any, but they were, I don't know, $10, $13 on the international auctions.
Wow.
So that's decent money.
surprising.
Yeah.
So how about something like pine martens?
Oh, I'll take a stab at around $60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I do know somebody that does a lot of trapping for those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Only problem with pine marten, we're only limited to 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very restrictive,
Yeah.
I suppose. How about something like a fisher?
Fisher, they'll run about 80,
Oh, wow. Okay.
but you're again limited to 2.
All right. Because I do have some of those mine now.
Yeah. And that limit is combined too. I mean, you can have 2 Fisher, 2 Martin, or 1 of each. It's just
Really?
two animals for
Oh,
those
wow.
2.
That is
Okay.
restrictive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas bobcats, you're allowed 5, otter 4. The rest are unlimited.
That surprises
Gotcha.
me that the cats are 5.
Yeah. It used to. This is years ago too. Before the lynx was put on the endangered list, it used to be 5 cats, but only one can be a Canada lynx.
Really?
Yeah, that was probably the late 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So has there been a lot of changes? Well, I'm sure there has been since, let's say, the 90s.
Oh yeah, the lynx probably being the biggest one.
Biggest change.
It's really changed. The trapping landscape east of Highway 53, the lynx zone.
Yeah.
We're pretty much, we cannot snare there anymore.
Oh, really?
Very restricted on our trap sizes, chain links, what's called flagging, like dangling a feather to attract an animal from a distance. There's none of that over
Really?
there. Yeah.
Huh.
So read the law book.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
Major changes.
No
I
doubt.
bet.
Since, for sure. So you just trap around your house, your area there? or
Yeah, I
mainly?
probably a 50, 60 mile
Oh, wow.
radius.
Okay.
So I cover some ground.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And is that all public, mix of public, private?
It's a mix, but primarily public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have to, so when you trap on public land, do you have to mark where those trap sets are or record them anywhere, like bear bait stations? No? Okay.
No, none of that.
Okay.
No, if I had to put a sign up that I got a trap set, I wouldn't have many traps left.
Right. True.
Yep. Mhm,
Yeah.
For sure.
And I know I always see you guys at the sports shows.
Yes.
The booths and everything. And actually this past year in February in Duluth, our booth was on the other side, but I went there because my son, he is infatuated with fox. That's his favorite animal. So we went over there, my wife and I went, and we got him a really nice fox fur, and he's got it hung up in his room, and it is awesome.
Sweet.
I mean, it is so cool. And it was so neat how, we got to pick which one we wanted and, touch them and everything. That's one of the coolest thing I really like about it. Is
Nice.
being able to do that. So
Nice.
Yeah, you guys always have a great booth. And you guys were at Game Fair, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're always at Game Fair.
Yeah, because we were down there this year. And
Yep,
I think
and-
we walked by.
Okay.
yeah, and typically Deer and Turkey Classic in Shakopee.
Mhm.
I know
Right.
you guys are at.
Yeah,
Yep,
we've
and of
always
course
visited
Duluth.
then.
So,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nope. We're at all those events.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I even bought a few raffle tickets, and I never got that phone call. I'm still waiting,
Yeah.
but
Right.
one of these years,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I'm sure
see,
I'll get the call.
I didn't get no call this year either. so-
Right?
You did from MDHA, though, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Won myself a nice rifle on the
Yeah.
education raffle. So
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah.
that's
So are
great.
you a deer hunter too then?
I am.
Awesome.
But it's where I live, deer hunting ain't.
It's tough.
It's not what it used to be.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of that for sure.
But they'll come back.
Yeah.
Well, if we get another winter like last winter, they're going to come back very well.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
that's gotta help.
Mhm,
Yep.
for sure. So, what is your stance on trapping wolves? Even though
Oh.
we can't do it,
I know can't do it, but they should be managed.
I agree.
And
yeah, we agree.
I'm 100% for it.
Yeah.
If they open up season, I'll be one of the first applicants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to trap a wolf again.
Did you trap it during the seasons of 2012, 14 area?
In 14, my wife got a tag.
Okay.
So we were busy trapping marten and fisher the first couple days of the season, and she kept bugging me. When are we getting our wolf traps on? I says, let's just get done with this, then we'll get on it.
Yeah.
Well, we got done with our marten and fisher. I went on the website. They were
And
filled
they were
up.
filled
Filled up.
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that just goes to show you, though, they can manage. And because
Yeah.
you had to check every morning,
You
right?
did. You
Mhm.
did.
Yeah. Because I think it was the last season I finally tried to get in on a hunt, and I think that was kind of what I ran into too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
By the
No,
time I did it, they were all
I'm
wrapped up.
I'm an advocate for a wolf season.
Yeah.
They've got to be managed like everything else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And where you're at, do you run into them, or at least they're signed quite a bit while you're out trapping and, you trap lines?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Very common in that Arrowhead region.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Mhm.
although I think now the population may be down some.
A little less.
I think those wolves have probably moved more in the central part of the state where
It
there's
seems like it.
where
yeah.
there's some game,
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, they can only sustain in one area so long.
Yeah,
while,
right.
You know, I mean, they're going to follow the food source.
Like I told my friend, they're not living on red squirrels where I am.
No.
Yeah.
No, for sure. So do you use trail cams when you're out there on your sets at all? Just
I do not.
No?
I do not. I use them for deer hunting.
Okay.
But not for trapping.
Not for trapping.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So, what do you look forward to the most when you're thinking about your trap line?
Mean as far as which species to target?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the current market conditions.
Okay, that makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah, like this fall now, mink are starting to inch up, so I may trap a few mink. I haven't done that for years.
Yeah.
Beaver, I'm probably not gonna go quite as hard at.
Okay.
Of course, I'll target marten, fisher, cats, and otter.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how do you specifically target a mink compared so you don't catch any of the others?
Oh, it's once you get into trapping, you can blind set a mink.
Okay.
And I use pocket sets, just a hole dug in the bank
Yep.
with some fish. Incidental catches, I will catch muskrats, which is okay.
Right.
And raccoon, which is okay too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So is coon going for a decent price?
coon is starting to come up, but still it's down.
I had a coon on the trail cam the other night. Did you see that?
Yeah, that thing was huge.
That thing was a monster.
they-
I swear to God, it had to be 50 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know where he must be eating.
He's eating
some
well.
corn somewhere. So
Well, probably not 50, but I bet you in the 30s.
Oh, he was
very,
fat.
yeah.
yeah, he's definitely healthy. That boy did not miss a meal.
Because I had one on a trail cam here too by my deer stand, and that was a big coon.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was a bear cub, but it wasn't.
Right, yeah. Me too. I had to take a double take at the thing. I was
Yeah.
like, what is that little poof ball?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the size of a beach ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing was awesome. How about does anybody trap skunk?
Yes.
I mean, is there a price?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you trap it. But
right now, skunk is through the roof.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at auction, I've seen them go as high as 40.
Wow.
$20 probably a realistic average.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bought this this tube trap
sure.
so you can get them live without them spraying, and I've been trying to get them out of my barn,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
but it
they're
works great.
Good. Good.
Yeah, they came from right here in Minnesota. I forget who makes it, but
yeah, I don't remember what you told me.
Yeah.
we'll have to look that up.
for sure.
So you said you guys got right around 2,000 members. So what's the price to be a member, and what does that entail?
Okay, for an adult, $35, and that's with the Trapper's Post. It's a national publication.
Okay.
6 times a year. That's published. So every other month.
Yeah.
You'll get our MTA newsletter. That's quarterly.
Okay.
And yeah, for $35, you can also be a $20 member, but that's without the Trapper's Post.
Yep.
Now, is the Trapper's Post, is that digital or is that?
Nope, that's
so
printed.
Because yeah, I just signed up today to be a member,
Awesome.
so I can look forward to that coming in my mailbox. then, right?
Exactly. And it's a
Awesome.
great magazine. All kinds of trapping tips, fur market report. It's got all the associations in the U.S.
Okay.
Their news. Me and Brian write a piece in every issue, and so do some of our directors.
Right.
Yeah, very, very good magazine.
How many trappers associations are there in the States?
Each state has at least one, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. And
So-
plus, we've got national. We've got the National Trappers
Yeah, I've seen
Association
them guys before,
and
yeah.
Fur Takers of America.
Okay.
I'm members of all of
All
them.
of them. Okay.
Yeah. So fundraising, do you guys do any, banquets or bingo? I know you do raffle at the sporting shows or sports shows and stuff. So
Yeah, we've got a legal defense banquet every winter,
okay.
and there we generate money for future legal battles. Of course, with the political climate and
Right,
with the way it is
yeah.
now, we've got to have a lobbyist.
Right.
They don't
Yep.
work for free.
No.
Right.
No.
So, yeah, that's our big fundraiser. Our biggest fundraiser is our raffle, of course.
Yeah.
But that's strictly for youth education.
Awesome.
We can't use that money anywhere else.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So with that youth education, like you said, you guys had a class recently, or a couple classes. So
Yes.
what does that entail?
Well, all the new trappers take an online course, just like firearm safety. And then we require 6-hour field day, and it
Okay.
can go longer.
Yeah.
I'm kind of open-ended on mine. But yeah, I've got one of my co-instructors does water animals. One does like Martin Fisher cats and weasels. I take care of canines. I also do some skinning, pelt handling demos.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, we serve the kids lunch.
Yeah.
We have a CO there to talk laws,
Laws,
of
yeah.
course, and ethics.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good day, and
And
kids, and then we give the kids a little starter package
Yeah.
into a half dozen traps, some stretchers, some
Wow.
lures. So
Yeah.
they got a good start.
Wow. That might be something.
I know you need an adult
I know
class.
I'm a pretty big kid.
Well, you come there, we'll give you some prizes.
Yeah. No, that's pretty neat. I had no idea.
Right. So let's say a new trapper comes in and, they learn the skill from you guys. How does a new trapper find out how to sell those hides?
Well, you can go on our website.
Okay.
We have a list of fur buyers.
All right. And they just contact them and they can usually figure it out.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Once you get to know a fur buyer, and these different fur buyers, they travel around our state.
Okay.
They travel different cities. So yeah,
Yeah.
probably more than likely they'll be in a location within 40, 50 miles of where you live,
Okay.
if not closer.
Wow. That's a nice little bonus to an outdoor hobby.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why I look at it.
right. Well, that's how I bought my first car is, fur money and picking night crawlers when I was a kid.
Yeah. hmm
And back then, I mean, nowadays every place is help wanted. Back then it
Yep.
wasn't like that. I mean,
Yeah.
the jobs weren't abundant.
Yeah. So you had to
Go in
find
the
other
woods and
ways.
make money.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Other ways
yeah.
to make money.
And I've always kind of liked making my money out of the woods,
Yep.
whether it be boughs or rice, fur,
Yeah.
logging, whatever.
Oh yeah, my dad's logger, and we used to do all that. Boughs, pine cones.
Yep.
I remember as a kid picking pine cones.
Yeah, my wife did that a couple of years, and I helped her out picking cones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, it's that resource that is always there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
well,
yeah.
very renewable and very green.
Exactly, exactly. People, badmouth logging and stuff. I say, it's just like farming corn.
Right.
Renewable resource.
If it's done right, yeah, and it creates deer habitat. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, really, not only deer, every kind of
right,
habitat.
right, for sure. So I have to ask you, what's your go-to brand of trap?
Oh, I'd have to say the majority. I haven't bought new traps in years,
I suppose.
but I've got a lot of Victor traps, Blake and Lamb. I do like the new Minnesota brand.
Okay.
Well, I guess they're not new, but they've been around a while. But Minnesota Trapline products,
Okay.
very well made trap.
Okay.
Yeah, if I was a young guy starting out, that's what I'd buy
All right.
because they'll last a lifetime.
What's the other major brand other than Victor?
Duke maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. Duke. Yep. I think that's what I have. Because I randomly, a few years back, just bought a bunch of them.
Sure, yeah,
It
Duke-
felt wrong not to have some.
Duke and Bridger are a little more moderately priced.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
But I mean, you take care of those traps, then they'll even last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you season your traps, sir?
I boil mine in sumac.
Okay.
Kind of it's got a lot of tannic acid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think my dad used to use like Tegelder or something like that. Yeah.
That's another one. A lot of tannic acid. Maple bark
Okay.
has tannic acid.
And I think you can buy some chemicals now to do it too, can't you?
Yes, you can buy these speed dips. You mix them with all things gasoline. Dip your traps in it and dyes them, and then you just air dry them.
Yeah. And that helps with the
I've tried it, but I'm not entirely sold, so I do it the old-fashioned way
yeah.
because I'm old.
Well, nothing wrong with that. So how about snaring? Do you do any of that?
Oh, I love snaring, but where I live, I cannot.
You can't do any of it.
Well, with the restrictions they have, I don't think it's ethical.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do it. And I don't know anybody that does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up snaring rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Yeah, with the laws the way they are now, you cannot even snare a rabbit
Really?
in the Northeast. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's just east of 53 then?
Yes, east of Highway 53.
All right.
And is that obviously just because there's that risk of catching that lynx potentially?
I guess.
Okay.
I guess, but the risk of catching a lynx in a rabbit snare is
Pretty small.
Well, that's
Pretty
kind of
much
what I was thinking. So
next
too.
to none, but
Yeah.
that's if you read the law, that's it.
Yep.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I was just looking at the district map, and those districts are quite large.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
I
nice.
see, District 6 right around the cities there. Is there a lot of trappers down there?
There's some. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to be going to District 6 meeting here October 12th.
Okay.
They've got a new director down, and he'd like to have me and Brian attend. So, yeah,
Awesome.
I don't like going to the cities, but,
Well, yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you there.
if
Nobody
you guys
does.
know.
If it's for a good cause, we do it.
Yeah.
We were down there for a day on the hill last year. I think that was
Yeah.
the last time we were down there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And we have a Trappers Day at the Capitol, too.
Okay.
I was going to ask that if you guys. Okay.
Yeah. Good. It's good. It's very useful.
Yeah.
You know,
And what do you guys usually push for on stuff like that? Just general
well, general,
trappers' rights?
yeah,
Mhm.
preserving what we have. You know, we try to work with the DNR.
Yeah.
Like we got the otter season extended.
Right.
We're hoping next maybe they'll increase the limit once they run this for a year or two.
Right.
Yeah. No, we try to work together.
Well, that's good. And what would you say is your biggest issue right now, fight-wise? Is it
Just preserving trapping with a political climate. You got to be so careful with
Right.
bills. I mean, you don't want to introduce some bill where they can start taking on amendments to it, and
right?
you got to be very careful. That's why we got a lobbyist.
So you guys actually have a full-time lobbyist then,
We
kind of
do.
like MDHA does? Yeah,
We do.
Okay.
That's helpful.
Yeah, we also got a legislative liaison, Randy Goldenman.
Okay.
He's our kind of boots on the ground guy down there. And
Yeah, it's helpful. I tell
Yes.
you. And then even just planning those events down at the Capitol.
yeah.
there,
Yes.
extremely useful for that.
yes, no, it's Randy, Gary Lestico, our attorney, and Tim Spreck, our lobbyist, are just the best.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I think it's great to have you guys out there. I mean, even though we don't talk about it enough. I mean, we try to bring it up here as much as possible. Whenever I talk about hunters, I always try to throw in, trappers too, just because
Sure,
I think it's important to
Yep.
keep that tradition going too,
Yeah.
as well as hunting. So,
Yeah.
because that's how I grew up.
Well, I think it's great you joined the MTA, Jim.
Yeah, I figured you're coming all the way over. I better well join
Yeah,
up.
now we get Dino on
Yeah,
board.
Dino's
Right.
got to get signed up.
I may have to because after talking to Joe last week and learning some of that, and then after this, I'm gonna, and then see you guys all the time and bought the fox fur. I'm really gonna kind of look into it a
Good.
little bit more.
Good.
When I was looking at the your 2024 summer convention, that was down in Little Falls. That looked like it was pretty cool.
Yes,
Pretty fun. A lot of people there.
A
So.
lot of people. It's just a great venue too.
Yeah, where was that at?
Little Falls
at the fairgrounds.
at the
okay.
Morrison
Okay.
County
Okay.
Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, great venue. We're going to be in Wadena next year.
Okay.
I believe July 31 through August 2nd.
Okay, so that moves around a
We
little
move
bit,
it around. Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah. Each district has a chance to host it. They'll bring a proposal to the board.
Yep.
Yeah. Lately, the last 3-4 years, it's all been in central Minnesota, which is nice too.
Yeah.
I suppose for those southern members. And
Yeah,
northern
and for the
members.
northern members.
Yep. Kind of
Don't
that
have to
central
travel so far.
that central location.
Right.
So,
You guys ever held it here in town? In Grand Rapids?
I believe we did.
Yeah.
And this is many years
Many
ago.
years, okay.
Before I was a member, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of neat to go to.
hmm
Although I guess Wadena and Little Falls aren't that far.
Not really.
pretty close.
No.
Yeah. So I was just reading here, education course. So anyone born after December 31st, 89, never purchased a trapper's license and would like to must. So then you have to take the trapper's education class.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that, the DNR mandates you have to do that, but the MTA funds that entirely
Okay.
really?
on our dime. Yes.
Well, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So anybody
really nice.
born after 89 has to take that if they're going to trap
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
Okay.
If you haven't purchased a license before that date.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Jeez, I couldn't tell you when the last time I purchased a license.
So to trap, you have to have a license.
Yes.
Okay.
A fur bearer's license, is that what it's called?
Yeah, just a trapping license.
Okay.
Because the sportsman's doesn't cover that.
That's what I was going to say. That
No.
doesn't cover that,
No.
right?
Right.
So this is a separate
Yes.
license.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sportsman's only covers your small game and fishing.
Right.
Yeah. You got to buy a separate trapping.
Okay.
And then once you get your trapping, then you apply for your tags, your Martin Fisher and Otter.
Okay.
And they're free.
Okay.
Gotcha. Because that was going to be my next question. So do you have tags like, for your deer or anything?
What they are is that they're not actually a tag like the old metal seal tags.
That's too
Okay.
bad.
They're just like deer. They're like a site validation tag.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Or coupon, they call them. Site validation coupon.
So what is the process then? Is it the same as deer? You tag it and you register it, or
Yeah. You've got 2 days after the close of season
Okay.
to register your animals. Although this year it's going to be slightly different for the marten and fisher due to Christmas. It'll be just a 1 day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do it within 2 days of taking an animal.
No.
Okay.
No.
So just had the end of season,
Which
then
kind of
you
makes
say
sense
that
because if
caught
you guys
Yes.
so
get
many
multiple animals, yeah, you got to report it all. at
Right.
once then.
Right. You know, each animal you catch, you validate your coupon,
Okay. Okay.
just like a deer.
Right.
And then the close of season, then you bring them in for registration.
Yeah. So is that how you usually do it? Is you wait till the end of the season, register, and then sell
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Gotcha.
all at once?
Yeah, I was looking up the license for trapping, and 18 and over, under 65, $23 to get a trapping license. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not bad.
For sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that. See, I'm learning stuff. I learn stuff
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. No, that's
Well,
Well, yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons I wanted to have you on
I
because
know.
I did have so many questions.
Sure.
You know.
And then for new trappers, the young kids, you know, I think it's 12 to 15. That's a junior license
Okay.
at a reduced race, maybe $5.
junior trapping, age 13 to 17, $5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super cheap.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, Fisher Martin, free.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm glad you got the book there because I wasn't even sure.
Yeah.
Juniors.
No, we refer to this a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A
I mean,
person's got to.
I'm sure there's some stuff we say that's not exactly in here, but we try to find
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Or
that's
try to
right.
give you good information.
Yeah.
Our last district meeting, I emphasized to the members, make sure you go through the rules.
For a non-resident, just happen to open that page, $84.
Yeah, but you've got to
landowner
own.
only.
Yeah, landowner
Okay.
only.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, Minnesota does not allow non-resident trapping.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, that is good to know.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
sure.
I would say so.
Right. I mean, especially when the license is so cheap.
Yeah.
We had a vote with our membership probably 8-9 years ago, and the membership voted in favor of allowing non-resident trapping with restrictions.
Okay.
Yeah. So they wouldn't be able to take animals like otter, bobcats, marten and
right.
fisher, like that, and some other restrictions too. But yes, it's something we're working on.
Yeah.
Political climate is not right.
I can only
You know,
imagine. It's
so,
hard enough for hunting. I can't imagine
Yeah,
what it is for
they're just-
trapping.
That's kind of not at the forefront right
Yeah.
now.
So how is the recruitment on your guys' side as far as youth go? I mean, is it same as hunting? Down?
Yes, it's down.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I've held this class in Mountain Iron. I'm not even sure how long, but quite a few years. And I think our biggest class was 15 or 16, and our lowest was 5.
Mm-hmm.
This year we had 11. I had 13 signed up, but 2 no-shows. So yeah,
That's
I sure wish I could have 20 or 30 kids
Yeah.
at each
right?
one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
you do what you do. But like I tell everybody, whether it's 1 or 40, we'll train you.
Mhm. That's great.
So what district has probably the most members or the biggest consolidation?
I would think it would either be 1, 4, or 3.
It's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
That kind of makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guess. No, I don't have a breakdown.
Right.
So
Now down in like your 7 and 8 in the very southern part, I mean, I could see 8 being probably really good for trapping, but 7 and even 2, just because of, land and just the way the landscape is, I'm guessing there's probably not as much to trap, or I guess they
Well-
just maybe adapt and trap totally different.
I think they
animals.
trap different. Like
Yeah.
Brian, our president, is down from District 7,
Okay.
and he targets coyotes.
Right. I suppose.
He traps 100 coyotes a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, big time coyote trapper, good coyote trapper.
Yeah.
And if coon were high, I'm sure they'd target coon down there
suppose,
more.
yeah.
There's still a lot of mink and rats down there too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. And I suppose beaver are kind of all
Yeah,
over.
beaver are kind of
for the
all
most
over.
part.
Sure, sure.
So do you do any coyote trapping
I
in
do.
your area?
I do that. I did more of it when I was able to snare.
I
But
suppose, yeah.
I do like right after deer season, when the guys get out of the woods,
Yeah.
I'll put some coyote sets out.
Yeah, okay.
Just keep in practice.
Yep.
I might have to
Right.
try that. I got so many coyotes around my house and nobody hunts them or anything.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to do a little bit of everything. Hunting
And
and trapping.
coyotes are rough on fawns, and even
Yeah.
adult deer. You give them the right conditions,
For sure.
they'll take an adult.
I got pics on my trail cam this year of them chasing fawns.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure,
Mhm.
sure.
Yep.
No, a lot of people don't think a coyote is big enough, but they're rough on fawns, along with the wolves and the bears.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. And I know back home we always had trappers come in, especially for beaver, and they would trap coyotes and a lot of coons in the area and whatnot. And I know we would have hunters come in and hunt the coyotes, and then trappers kind of around that same time in obviously different areas. And I know, not going to quote on this one, but a set in a weekend, he maybe caught 5 coyotes.
Wow. Yeah.
At which I thought was crazy because the hunters probably killed another 5 or 8.
Sure.
And a couple weeks later, another set came in, they
Yep.
caught a few more or even, shot a few more. It's like, wow, it's just amazing. Well, and then when we went hunting, this last spring, we saw quite a few, and then we talked to some of the other hunters around, or my folks talked to the other hunters, and they figured up they probably almost took 60 coyotes out of there.
Just off your parents' property?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was even before we got there, really.
Right.
And we still saw a lot and heard a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing how many are out there. And,
Yes.
with the hunting and the trapping, that would really,
And you can do that every single year.
yeah.
Right. Right. But you're taking that many out. You got to be making a difference.
Yeah.
Fawns are surviving, small game is surviving.
Yep.
Yeah, and where he's talking about is Kansas.
Yeah.
Oh,
so we
okay.
do it for the
Okay.
calves.
Sure.
We go down,
Sure.
a lot of the hunters and trappers are coming in, springtime that, February to May is kind of the big, calving season for the most part. And so that's when a lot of the guys will come in.
Sure.
But yeah, we're hoping to make another trip down there, and
Yeah, that was a hoot.
we'll have to look into trapping for that as well, because I know
We could
it's
put a few sets out, I suppose.
yeah, and I know we'll have to look at some of the rules and laws and out of state, because I think it was different for trapping and hunting
Okay.
typically.
Okay. Yeah, you'll have to take a close look at
Yeah,
that.
I definitely will. May have to look up the Kansas Trappers Association.
Yeah.
Oh, they must have one.
They
You
do.
would-
They do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll look that up afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Don't go off shooting sideways
Right.
here. So when you deer hunt,
Yes.
what's your go-to rifle?
Well, I gave my daughter my pet 270.
Okay.
She needed the rifle, so I gave her that, and I shoot a 300 Win Mag. Now,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
little
Serious business.
overkill, but I won it on a raffle.
well, there you go. There you go. You can't beat that.
No, you
It-
can't beat the free guns.
Yep, it knocks them down.
Yeah, no
Do the
doubt.
trick. For sure.
Yeah, I do like the 270. That's
Yeah,
my
no,
go.
that was
So,
my pet, that one, but
yeah.
Yeah.
it's in good hands now.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's always nice to
exactly.
pass it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hopefully I can do that someday.
Yeah. Do you do much for bird hunting, grouse,
Yes,
or
I do.
duck or goose? Yeah.
Well, duck and goose I do, but this year when we were scouting for wild rice, it looked real poor, so I didn't buy my stamp
Okay.
this year.
Well,
So
But grouse and
yeah,
woodcock
I like hunting grouse.
Yeah.
In fact, this morning I went to clear a trail, some trees off, and the wife said, "Well, aren't you taking your shotgun?" I goes, ain't gonna see nothing anyways, and I seen 2. That's the way it goes.
yeah,
does the
exactly.
population look good up there in the Northeast?
It's so green out now, I couldn't tell you,
Nice.
but
Yeah,
I
it
think
is, man.
actually the wet June might have did some damage up
I've
there.
been hearing that.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that a lot.
Yeah, I have not seen coveys. I've seen some singles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the spring, I mean, I heard a lot of drumming and
Oh.
everything, but and everybody's been saying since June they haven't heard or seen a lot. It's like, I think they're right.
Yeah.
The other night headed home, I ran up on a covey of 4.
Okay.
But that was the most I've seen. Otherwise, just a couple singles, but
Yeah.
not as many. I mean, we've been in the woods
Quite a bit in the
a
last
couple
weeks,
weekends,
yeah.
and we haven't seen.
I haven't
Sure.
seen any.
I don't think I saw any since we've been in the woods.
Yeah, well, we had that storm in June. We had between 7 and 10 inches of rain in the
Okay.
Northeast, and that's
Okay.
a critical time for those young girls.
Yep.
Might have got.
And I'm thinking too, a critical time for young everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. For
Well, the
sure.
DNR just released that fawn study, and they said that it was a higher mortality because of the rain.
I read that. Yes.
Yeah. I guess I missed that one.
Yeah.
Now up there, you guys don't have. I mean, we're just now seeing turkey up in the Togo Big Fork area. Do you guys have any turkey up there?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
You do?
Really?
It's amazing. We
Really?
do.
Wow.
You know, it's black spruce swamp country, I
Right,
call it.
right.
Yeah, we've got turkeys.
How long have you been seeing those guys?
Oh, I got to say the last 10 years.
Really?
And it just keeps getting more and more.
I live just east of town here, and I finally just started seeing them this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have lots of predators from my
Yeah.
place. So.
Yeah.
Well, when they first showed up in my neck of the woods, I figured, well, between the coyotes and the bobcats, these things aren't going to make
Right,
it. And
right.
they're thriving.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So-
good to hear, though, because I'd like to have a nice, healthy flock around my place. But with the bobcats, coyotes, bears,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything else I'm seeing.
But
No, I love seeing the turkey. I grew up turkey everywhere, and where we live now, we've seen quite a few turkey. We used to have them in the yard the last couple of years, but now they moved a little bit further east.
okay.
So I see a flock. There's got to be 20 birds every day.
Wow.
Coming to
Wow.
work, and so yeah, I've just always wondered if they're how far north they've gotten.
Yeah. They're north of Two Arbors by 30
Okay.
miles, I can tell you
Wow.
Wow. That is good to hear, though.
That Turkey Federation, they do wonders.
They must be doing something right, huh? To that of those Canadians buying them from Dyson.
Yep.
They're coming
Right.
south.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So when I was buying the fox fur, I want to say you guys had some wolf pelts as well. So obviously you have to get those internationally.
Yes. Yeah. They're bought at the Canadian auctions.
Okay.
We got a guy that goes up and purchases
those, yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah, I think we looked at them down at
Yes, we were down at
during
Shakopee.
Turkey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And then if you did happen to purchase one, I mean, it's just some simple paperwork
Is
you
it?
got to
Okay.
keep with you. And
That's what I was going to
You know,
ask. So
yeah.
what, since obviously, what are the restrictions and stuff like
just having that piece of paper says it originated in Alaska or Canada.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about that, the wolf hunt and trapping too. I think we got a guy coming down from Canada that's going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be real interesting.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we can get a wolf season in Minnesota here in the
Oh,
next 2 years. Would
I'd
be
love it.
glorious
yeah.
We can only hope.
Yes. Yes. No,
to help manage them better, I should say.
yeah.
Yeah, it looked like you guys signed on to the petition for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife to,
Yes.
do the wolf management in the states or return the wolf management back to the states. So I was proud to see that.
Right.
So that was return wolf management to states. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to. I'm gonna have to look at that and sign up for that one as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Wolf Report just released a petition today too
Yes.
for that for the state here in Minnesota. Basically.
Okay.
More localized.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I don't know how it's all going to work. Governor Walz says no wolf hunt on his watch. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be easy by any means.
No.
But if there's a ray of hope,
Well,
I'm
and
going to
then-
jump on it.
Yeah.
Right. And then the federal government just said that they're looking at, potentially passing that to where it'll get it off the endangered species
Yes,
or
yes.
talking to the courts or whatever it was. I don't know the exact lingo, but something
Right.
similar to that. So,
Yeah. And then I've heard talk too about legislation being introduced that would actually rewrite the Endangered Species Act. So these, judges, say from California,
Right.
can't
Yeah.
go in.
Yep.
And they're just using it as a tool.
Well,
Right.
stopgate. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all it is.
It's not about protecting the wolf.
No, not
It's
at all.
At all.
No.
It's just a roundabout way of getting what they want.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
no
Well, and-
scientific reason whatsoever.
Right, exactly. No scientific reason.
Yeah.
And they've got really deep pockets, and that's
Sure.
where
Yep.
and like we've said before on other podcasts and stuff, that's where hunters and trappers and everybody has to get in this agreement, that everything needs to be managed.
Yes.
And this is what we want.
Yeah.
But we get into these arguments between hunters or groups and everything to where it's not doing the cause any good.
No.
Because then you get these radical groups, organizations, people that they take it to the extreme, and that's where
Yeah, it almost does more damage.
Exactly. And then that's where these groups go, hey, these guys are extreme. And then they encompass all of us into that one radical group. And it does nobody any good.
No, I find it interesting you said that, because that's one of our goals is unity.
Right.
You know, align with other outdoor user groups, and you hit your spot on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you almost have to, but we're so fractured right now that we have to, and goals like that, that's a no-brainer. There's got to be some type of an alliance.
Yes, yes. I mean, you know, everybody says we got to follow the science. Well, fishermen, hunters, and trappers are following the science,
Absolutely.
and so are our game managers.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
For sure. Totally agree.
Well, yeah.
So when's the next big event for the Trappers Association?
Be this winter, January 11th. We'll have our winter general membership meeting in Baxter.
Okay.
That's right next to Brainerd.
Yeah.
And that same evening, then we'll have our legal defense banquet at Legion in Brainerd.
All right. So is that just like, let's say, our deer hunter banquets where you guys have some raffles and whatnot for fundraising?
Yep. A lot of games and stuff, fundraising, good meal.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Prime rib dinner, and can't beat that.
Right.
Yeah. So January 11th, you said?
Yep. January 11th.
Okay. Man, I may have to jot that
I
down on my
believe
calendar.
tickets are $60 for individual for the banquet and $100 for couple.
Right.
Well, that's really good.
Do you have to be a member to go to that?
Yes, you do.
You got to be a member, do you?
Right. Is that price including membership, or is membership obviously you have to be a member prior to?
Yes, you got to be a membership prior.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
this is just for the
Just
banquet.
get in for the banquet
Okay.
ticket. Gotcha. Yeah.
And what do you guys usually spend that legal defense fund on?
Well, like I said, our lobbyist.
Okay, so it goes to the lobbyist.
That's not cheap. And we like to have a coffer set aside, so if some
just in
legal
case.
battle does come,
You can find it.
none of this stuff is cheap.
No,
No, not anymore.
No
You
one's
guys
cheap
know as
anymore.
well as
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. But I mean, I like the idea of a legal defense fund there, funded with a banquet.
Right.
Yep.
Well.
Yeah, and I love all the education you guys do and those programs.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
That sounds really, really good to get into. And I'm thinking might be something to mention to our education camps, our Forkhorn camps, to see if they do anything, at least maybe an intro to trapping,
Oh, that would be
or
that'd be great.
I don't know, something.
Yeah, like in Forkhorn 2 or something, have an intro to trapping.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not sure if they do any of that.
I don't think so either. I mean, even if not in 2, for sure 3, maybe 2 be an intro and 3 be a little bit more into it would be, I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah, I didn't mention too at our summer convention, Brian started a beginner trapper connection.
Okay.
Whereas before, our conventions, young kids would come and watch adults giving demonstrations and like that. Well, Brian started a thing. It's kid specific. You got kids there and instructors specifically working with the kids on different topics. It works out great. And I think last year it was the most participation we've ever had.
Really?
Coming to those demos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that's
Kids
great.
love it.
It's great. Yeah, I remember I love getting the old fur fishing games that Dad used to get.
Yes.
I still get him subscriptions to that as a gift.
Yeah.
really?
No, that's a good magazine. Down to Earth magazine.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Yeah, I used to get I remember looking through those things when I was very young.
Sure.
A while ago.
Yeah,
A lot longer for me, Jim.
that's pretty neat. And just checking out the website, the Andy's Tracks and Trails, that's really informative.
Yeah. No, Andy Shoemaker, he's quite the writer.
Yeah.
And a lot of experience. He's good, all around good guy.
Yeah, good photos, good little stories. No, that's pretty neat.
So where's the go-to place around here, I guess in northern Minnesota or in Minnesota, to buy some fur that's already processed into, let's say, gloves, jackets?
Oh, if you go on the websites, there's Amber Posh. I think it's Fireside Fur. She's got a lot of stuff.
Okay.
USA Fox in Duluth has stuff. Brian Fisher, our president, has hats, that sort of thing. If you just wanted to get the raw fur and have somebody else sew it up, Minnesota Trapline Products has a lot of tan fur for sale.
Where's Minnesota Trapline Products on?
They're just east of Wilmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim Caven.
I'll have to check them out.
Great guy.
Yeah. No, that's pretty neat. You guys do great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to look at becoming a member and seeing what I can learn and how to trap a few things.
Yeah.
You know, the
Well, it's a
weasel
great
trapping sounds really
organization
cool.
to support too.
Oh,
Even
it
if you're
is.
not going to get into trapping, I mean,
Yep.
to be able to still do it, I think is very important.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's our heritage.
Right.
You know. And geez, Brian's going to be happy. I went and did a podcast and we
Right.
might have 2 new members.
Right. Yeah.
It was a win-win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And everybody that hears it will hopefully look you guys up, and maybe you'll get a few more out of
Great.
it.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
For sure. We'll put it all out on our channels and
Well, I appreciate
drum
it,
up
guys.
some support for you
Yeah,
guys.
we'll see what we
and
can-
I'd like
see what
to
we can help
maybe try and make it down to the Brainerd banquet. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. We'll definitely have to look at the calendars, and if for some reason not that, maybe the summer event.
Sure.
You know, it'd be really nice to look at. So
Yeah.
And support you guys for sure.
I mean, once you start going to the summer conventions, it's almost like a family reunion.
Is it?
Yeah.
A lot of those
I
people
bet.
you don't see but once, maybe twice a year.
I suppose.
It's great.
I suppose.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Great. Well, we appreciate you making the long drive.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yes. Yeah.
Hopefully it helps you guys out. And I think we'll continue to talk about you guys. And I always do talk about trapping as important as hunting.
Great.
So,
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we appreciate it.
thanks again, Bert.
Thanks.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and wolf.report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors.